In 1992, we had a problem. There were two industry organizations representing two very different types of biotechnology companies. And the Senate or the Congress, they didn't know which side to really believe in. And then along came Fred Frank, who was the chairman of Lehman Brothers for a number of years.
I was Wall Street's first pharmaceutical analyst, where I established the first investment banking practice in life sciences.
Fred said to me and others, he said, if we don't form a unified organization, there is not going to be any capital for the biotechnology industry.
If we don't have the right innovation environment in Washington, our companies will never have the capital to survive.
And so there had to be some kind of a confluence.
A sense that coming together and having a shared voice in terms of public policy was going to be important.
Educating the public and countering a number of groups that really have been fighting against this technology.
But Bio was a startup just like the companies were a startup, and so you had to figure out what's the model, what to focus on, what are the priorities.
And then, of course, Jurassic Park came out. And we had to explain once again what was true and what wasn't true.
There were a lot of protests, and they were large.
We had to go back to our constituents, on one side very negative towards the small companies, on the other side the small companies not trusting the large companies. It was quite difficult, but at the end of the day we prevailed, and
As they say, the rest is history.
Thomas Jefferson said, I prefer the dreams of the future to the history of the past. And when I think of biotechnology, I think about a history of making dreams for the future possible.
So the first 25 years, maybe this is the era of the protein as we figured out all the different ways to make proteins medicines. I think as we look at the next 25 years, the era of genomic medicine.
and in some cases even curing diseases. That was a word that was not used 25 years ago.
We can actually use the word cures.
We can precisely fight against diseases.
Trying to find the answer to Alzheimer.
Opioid addiction.
We're really at the dawn of a new era of medicine.
I think when people think about the past 25 years, they will think about the birth of the biocentury.
There is not a single person on this planet that isn't touched in some way by what we do here at Bio.
A lot of the innovators and entrepreneurs today are standing on the shoulders of giants from the past. And so we've been blessed by the work that they did early on to really pave the way to bring important innovation forward for patients.
Over the past 25 years, this industry really has evolved in a way that I don't think any of us would have imagined. The complexity of the technology, the advancement of the technology.
If it wasn't for bio, we wouldn't have the connection to our legislators that we do.
We have people who've been in Congress, but we've also have people who've been in the industry and understand science.
If we're not for bio, we would not be able to address serious medical problems.
The problems have become more difficult and the science more complex.
When we think about the fact that just in about 30 years from now, we have to feed over 9 billion people. And so I think it's important for us to be able to understand that new innovation is happening all the time. And being able to apply the tools of biotechnology to solve problems is really what the Food and Agriculture section is all about. But really, that's what the entire organization is about.
And so our ability to translate that to the public and to the policymakers has had to grow proportionally, and it has.
We have to reinvent the story that we have about biotechnology and work again with the public, with the legislature, to make sure that they understand all of the issues.
Including human health, animal health, plant technologies, industrial and environmental applications.
I stand on Carl's shoulders. He was the visionary. And he understood something that I think was critically important. All of the intelligence on the planet is in DNA. It's in the DNA of plants, it's in the DNA of animals, it's in our DNA. And what biotechnology is about is not one application, but it's the whole notion that if we understand DNA at a profound level, we can use that knowledge to turn all of that intelligence in life to solve problems that have otherwise no solutions. And from what we learn, a couple doesn't have to bury its child.